No idea. Answers on a postcard. Absolutely no idea. I think I offended people with the English breakfast. I don't know. I don't know. I can't. I'll tell you what happened. We're streaming away, and the laptop says something. It's never happened to me in my life. Never happened to me in my life. The laptop just said, "There's been a problem. We're shutting down and restarting." I've never had that happen to me in my life. It's actually quite worrying that, because of what I do for a job, it's quite worrying that it. I mean, I've had the internet go down. I've had my streaming service crash. I've had YouTube go down. I've never had the laptop just go, "We're shutting down. There's a problem." I don't know. I just literally have never had that happen before. Get a PC, Mark. Yeah, I mean, I'm still on the laptop, which sometimes decides to make more noise than the Heathrow. But still 0-0 in this game anyway. And the fact that the timer is still correct is remarkable, isn't it? But I think it's a problem with the fan. I agree with you, Tide. I think it is a problem with the fan, which I need to fix. I'm not very good at change. I actually have got another laptop I could use. I just can't be bothered to get it all set up. But yeah, the time is nowhere near correct. No, it's not. It's having a right laugh, and it's a goal for Bayern Munich. Goal Bayern, and it's Chopo Moateng, who people do take the piss out of, but is actually not bad. Or is it off? No, it's not goal. It's offside. It's offside. Offside. He's not happy. People are saying, yes, get in. Oliver Kahn looks like he's sat on the toilet pinching one out, but let's have a look. Oh, I don't think he's offside unless Muller touches it. Mark, have you heard anything about Kyle Walker flashing in a pub? Marcus, I've heard little bits about it. I don't really know what the story is. I think it might be a goal, this. Anyway, let's sort this timer out. It's miles off. Did Muller... Well, at the end of the day, you got to blame Muller. Goal! No, offside. I don't know. What does the hand in the air mean? Cross comes in. Chopper Meritin gets a header on it. Does Muller touch it? Chopper Meritin. Header. I don't know where he touches that. Does Muller touch that? I think that's a brave call. I think that's a brave call. Well, they've got the tech. That could have been curtains for PSG. Any chance of some keep-ups, Mark? Says Dot. I'll do some in a minute, but Bayern have had a bit of a kick up the arse here. Did anybody actually check if you can buy tickets for the Manchester show in when I whacked it in? I mean, please do buy tickets. It'd be nice to see you there, but I'll pin it in the chat. We're on tour in 2 weeks. Be lovely. Great to see you there. First ever tour shows. What's your advice for me as a Spurs fan and always being crap, says BS? You've got to stick by your club. You've got to stick by your club. Better times will come. I think if Spurs got bought by someone like Saudi Arabia or, Apple or something like that, it'd be a very good club. But, you've just got the wrong people. I think they care about Spurs, but they're the wrong people, It's like being married to somebody who visually repulses you. They might be a really nice person, but ultimately, it's not the right fit in more ways than one. And that's what it's like for Spurs, I think. You know, you've got people who care, but it's not the right fit. You know, you've got to go for the full package. Dan Kelly says, "Do you like whiskey?" I've got a big, well, but no, I've got loads. I mean, I'll show you some that I've got actually. We're not drinking them now, but I've got that one, which is Monkey Shoulder. I've got this one. I call it Laphroaig. I've got a Glenmorangie. I've got a Glenlivet. I've got a Tam Navelin and a Ballantyne's. And then I got sent this. Got sent this one. It's one of my favourite ones. You know, I wear a lot of Lyle and Scott. They sent me a whiskey, a Lyle and Scott whiskey. I mean, it might taste like shit, but I like the fact that it's got the Lyle and Scott eagle on it. I don't drink them. I don't even really collect them. I do like a Jameson's James Parfitt. When I was in London, I like a Jameson's and ginger ale. Do you think if Arsenal get seconds, they have overachieved? Says Reese. Yes, but it'll be very disappointing for them. Bottle of scotch, says Wallaxy. Are you coming to Dublin, Mark? Also, I bought a super chat, but you froze. Sorry, the Gill. Yes, I am. When is the Last Kingdom film coming out, Godson? I'd be very interested to know that. Monkey Shoulder is amazing, says the Inevitable. Yeah, a lot of people say that's a good one. Favourite ice cream flavour, says Awoken. It's a bit like favourite takeaway. It depends what mood I'm in. Sometimes I like mint, and sometimes I like I like a lot of the Häagen-Dazs ones, you know. Banoffee and actually I'll probably throw up on that now. Scooby-Doo Bridge says it. Did anybody check the tour tickets and see if Manchester's sold out? The Last Kingdom's good. I'd be jealous, Mohammed, if you watched it from the start. Hi, Mark. What would you value Ferguson at Brighton, says Dylan. Well, Fannel, thanks very much. Apparently Manchester is sold out. Great. I'm going to message someone. What was the question that I was going to answer there? I am coming to Dublin, yeah. I'm doing 2 shows in Dublin. Scooby-Doo Bridge. I'm sure there was a question I was going to answer. What would you value Ferguson at Brighton? Good question. I think it depends what Brighton would value him at, but I think they would want at least 50 million. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I think they would, because he's got that potential. Ever been to Newark? It was down the road from me, Owen. Newark's down the road from where I went to school. I tell you what, don't get me started on that. Do not get me started on that. You know me, I'm not really much of a moaner. I went to school in Bingham, up the road. A market town up the road from Newark, which is also a market town. The school in Bingham I went to is called Toot Hill. Right? A who's who of Toot Hill over its whole history. You know, I'd be Man United and the next famous person played a bit of cricket for Nottinghamshire. Wasn't even very good. I've never been invited back. Never been invited back and never been acknowledged. They still haven't sent me my record of achievement. It's like having Gary Neville as the headmaster. They just don't like me and I don't know why. You know, some prat I know that I worked with, right? All he did was do a charity run and they bloody named a wing of the school after him. You know, I do what I do, and not even had a tree planted. Big Ash says, would you say Gary Neville is the arch nemesis in this Goldbridge biopic? I can see why. You're his main competition in the United influencer space. Says Big. I've never met the guy. I don't know whether we'd get on. I'd love to have a pint with him, but I genuinely think he hates me. Yeah, I genuinely think he hates me. For me, it's love and banter, and I get in his replies sometimes, but I get in anyone's replies. It's not from a position of malice. I think it's just some people don't get me. You know, I'm not like that. I've raised over £100,000 for people dying of cancer. I'm not a bad person, and I'm not somebody that, you know, dislikes people. I just have an opinion and I'll put it out there, but I genuinely think he doesn't like me. Did you get a name for your podcast, says Abra? Not yet. We're not moving that quickly. Mark, why you wear glasses on and off, says Utsab. Is that a serious question? It's because I've got problems with my eyes. Goal for Chopper Moteng. He's offside again. No, he isn't. Nagelsmann. He's loving it. Nagelsmann loves a goal, doesn't he? Imagine what he's like in the bedroom. He absolutely loves a goal. And someone's got a pint. Can you have a pint in German football? You can have a pint in the stadium. Well, they've just made it 2-0 to Bayern. They just put 2-0 up on the screen. Did anyone else spot that? It said 2-0 to Bayern. Such a good goal, they've given him a bonus point. Yes, you can have a pint. You can have a pint. Chopper Moteng, you see. Yeah, he's well onside. He's well onside. Watch this tweet. Just check out at Mark Goldbridge. Thogden's crying. If you know, you know. I'm from Radcliffe-on-Trent. Have you ever been there? Oh, NFFC. Have I ever been to Radcliffe-on-Trent? There's a bear shit in the woods. I've just told you. Bingham. They'll virtually be the same place soon. You know, Saxondale Roundabout. They're building out. You'll be one place very, very soon if you're not already. And also, 2-0 against Danecourt. Danecourt Radcliffe School. Bingham 2-0. Have you ever been to Radcliffe-on-Trent? Have I been to Radcliffe-on-Trent? I'll tell you what. We had some big games against your lot. Peaky Blinders, defo better than Last Kingdom. It's close. I probably prefer it. Probably prefer that. Thoughts on Jonathan David as an option for United, says we. No, not for me. Am I safe to bring my girlfriend to the Dublin show, says Bobby Archer. In what way? She's not going to spot me and run away. Like, trust me, I wouldn't do it to you. If you're worried about her spotting me and trying to run off with me, just bring a seatbelt. Bring a seatbelt, put a padlock on it, you'll be fine. In fact, we'll provide some. PSG better than United next season. Mbappe Verratti for me, says Chris. No. So it's 2-0 on aggregate here. Oh, I know why I thought it was said 2-0, because it is 2-0 on aggregate. What a prat. Will PSG sack the manager if they don't go through, says Joey. You know what? Who is the PSG manager? I'll lose track. Who is it? Probably will sack him for going out in the last 16. Winning the French league with PSG is like getting up in the morning, isn't it? You might not, but chances are you probably will every day for your life. What can MLS do to be more attractive? Live near New York Red Bulls and go to a lot of games. What a save by Sommer that is from Ramos. Give him some skin. Ramos leaps like a salmon, powers it towards the goal, and Sommer, it looks like a good save. Was it one for the cameras? A little bit. But no, he's still got to do a lot of work. I think it is a good save. I think he's got to get a hand on it, but the way he puts it out for a corner, I think that's the best part of the save. You know, if I've learned something from Ben Foster, it's what's a good save and what's not a bad save. I think he's always going to make that save, but the way he twists his wrist to get the angle on the flip away for a corner was very good. Oliver McDonough says, what can we do to make the MLS more attractive? Stadiums never full. Oliver, you know what? I feel like the MLS is a little bit like opening a ski resort in Jamaica. It's just not going to work, you know? There's nothing you can do. You know, you can import a load of talent, but ultimately it's just not going to work. I just don't think it's going to work. Because you know why I don't think it's going to work on a serious note? Is if the MLS can't succeed and the Chinese league can't succeed, and they have tried, then... Sorry. I've got that completely wrong. Idiot. How can the MLS or the Chinese league succeed, and they have tried, when La Liga's failing, when the French league can't do it? Like, it's not the MLS's fault, but leagues in Europe are trying to have a super league because traditional leagues aren't working. I still think there's a player for us in Twan Sebi. Maguire could leave and he could be our fourth choice with Ten Hag nurturing him. He pocketed PSG, says Jack. He won't even be a United player next year, mate. He's out of contract. And do you think Bellingham goes... Who do you think Bellingham goes to in the summer, says Mikael? I think he's going to Liverpool. You could almost say it's a Goldbridge hot take because I've been saying it for a long time, but I'll tell you now for free. And I've already told it you. You don't have to pay for it. It's free. I was told by Liverpool friends who I know who are quite well, tapped into the Liverpool scene. I was told last September that they were confident of getting Bellingham. And they're not. Liverpool fans, whatever you think of them, and I don't think a lot after Sunday, they're not normally sensationalist when it comes to transfers. They're quite realistic. So for them to be confident about that Bellingham deal is a little bit unusual because they're not Man City, are they? So I think he's probably going there. Oh, here we go. It's someone else now. Yoda says, have you ever been to a village in Nottingham called Cockgrave? It's literally about 2 miles away from where I used to live. That's where the fish and chip shop was. I'll tell you what, that precinct in Cockgrave back in the late 80s, early 90s, that was moody. That was moody. People think places like, downtown New York are scary. Go down Cockgrave precinct in the late 80s. I'm telling you. That's all I'm going to say. Murtaugh's leading presentations to buy... What's that? Get the badge in, says Stan. Trivia. Who is the only English player to receive 0 England claps but received the Man of the Match award in the Champions League final, says Salim. I know the answer to this bloody question. Oh, I know it. I know the answer to that question. It's only a couple of weeks ago I was talking about it. I can't remember. What if Qatari investors come in early? I would take Frankie if we can't get Bellingham. I'd rather get De Jong over Bellingham because it's the player that Ten Hag wants. Mike Keegan update: Murtaugh leading presentations to buyers, sabotage incoming. What? He's going to keep his job then, isn't he? Ryan Bertrand, that's who it was. Yeah, it definitely wasn't Gabby Agbonglahor. Infinite said Gabby Agbonglahor. It was Bertrand in 2012. Thank you very much for that. Reece James, he's had a few England caps, Bushan. Answer is Jermaine Pennant, says Salim. Red Bull or Iron Brew, says Umzil. Iron Brew. Iron Brew. First, they have to call it by rightful name. I live close to the Miami Stadium, but have no interest in going to 2020. And Mohammed says, hello, Mark. I think Champions League final will be played in Qatar in the future. I wouldn't be surprised, Mohammed. I would not be surprised. 20 minutes to go. It's looking good for Bayern. I couldn't see it. I think PSG had a good first half, but I think it was always going to be difficult to turn this around. You had to score first. Okay, so let's have a look at these updates here. Should things go to plan, a deal for United could be agreed by the end of the month. This is from Mike Keegan. Those close to the sale process believe much responsibility will lie on John Murta. Chelsea and Man United are trying to persuade. Okay. Don't know what that's all about. That's the only two updates I can give you at this time. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It's been a cracking watch along again. Maybe not for the football, although I have enjoyed it like last night. It's been a nice backdrop to a fantastic stream. Mark, why is no one talking about Conte flopping at Tottenham even after spending a lot, says Sakin. Well, it's still 0-0 there, isn't it? I fancied, I've got to say, very impressive from Milan. I didn't think they would travel that well. Napoli are a brilliant team and they can beat anybody, but I didn't really think the depth of quality in Serie A would be good enough to knock out a Premier League side. So, but then again, Spurs are a bit of an Italian team, aren't they? Have you ever been to Hinckley or East Leek? I have been to East Leek, George. Definitely been to East Leek. Played them at football. I don't want to rock. DJ. Mark, do you have PTSD about the number 7? Says up. No. I can't, because it's the most iconic Manchester United number. I can't have it. I've just got to work through it, you know? Can't be defined by it. We're only 200 subscribers away from 922,000, so please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, get involved with That's Football. We've got a great community here. Hi Mark, if PSG were in the Premier League, where do you think they would stand? Also, who would you rather have for Man United? You know what, Kevin? There's an honest answer and there's a banter answer. If PSG were in the Premier League, I could rip the piss out of the French League and basically say that they would finish 8th. But the reality is, if you put Celtic or Real Madrid or PSG or Bayern Munich in the Premier League, they'd probably compete to win it. And the simple reason is, forget what current squads they've got, drop them in the Premier League with the amount of fans and competitive games and the revenues that they generate, they'd be able to compete with the very, very best, wouldn't they? Straight away. I mean, that's basically what Real Madrid and PSG and Bayern Munich would like. They'd love to play in a league like the Premier League, where there's a lot more interest and a lot more money to be made, but that's why they want the Super League, Real Madrid. Who would you have off PSG, our new feeder club? Verratti and Mbappe for me, says Chris. Do you think the boat's gone out with Verratti? Verratti seems to me to be a player that we've been wanting for probably the last 6 years. Do you think the ship might have sailed a little bit with him now? Is Verratti really the player that we would take? I'm not. I mean, I've always been a big fan of Verratti, but I'm not so sure for me that he is now. Be 31 this year. See, he's getting on a bit, isn't he? He's not as young as he used to be. Real said today they won't give Modric a new contract because he said he will play for the national team, so Bellingham could be done deal for Real. Maybe, Kaz. I think he's going to Liverpool. Cal says, do you think that Messi could do well in the Prem? I think the ship might have sailed with that. I mean, I'd still love to see Messi in the Prem, but I really would love to have seen Messi in his prime in the Prem. Sane could have played that back to make it 2-0. Bit greedy. You should travel to Canada, Mark, says Gary. What, and do what? Like, what would I do there? Do you want me to just go and live in Canada and stop streaming because you hate me? Or do you want me to go there and, ride a moose? Or, go skiing? Do a live show? Who do you think will win the Champions League? I personally don't want to let that arrogant Perez win again, says Min. I'm going with Bayern. Look at their depth of squad. They've knocked PSG out with Mane, Sane and Gnabry on the bench. Miki says, can you do a fan meet-up at the Cockgrave Chip Shop? I'll tell you what, next time I'm driving up to Nottingham to see family, I'll drop it on Twitter that I'm 5 minutes away from Cockgrave Chip Shop and the chips are on me. Is the chip shop still there? Because I tell you what, I tell you what used to be in that precinct, you had the chip shop, then you had what was the video called? Video Magic, I think it was called. Basically it was like Blockbuster. Chinese takeaway was along there as well. But I do miss those, Blockbuster. Don't you just miss the video shops where you go and get the rental on a Friday night? And then when you could rent games as well. Oh, I used to love that. I mean, I bet you can't rent games now, can you? I used to love renting games. I'd go down and rent Pro Evo to see if I wanted to buy it. Yeah, those days are gone. I used to love going down the video shop. Loved it. Especially when there was a good video. And I am talking video, VHS. Good film came out and you'd be there early. And then they'd have about 30 copies of, Back to the Future 3. And they'd all be gone. You had to get on board with the people behind the counter and go, well, if anyone brings it back early, this is my number. They were like dealers from the 80s. I love the cinema though. I'd hate it if I think that's next on the chopping block. By the way, get down your local cinema because that's going next. When cinemas go, I think that'll be it for me. I think I'll be done. I think I'll just cry for days. Imagine if cinemas shut down. Look, people say look after your local pub. They've diversified now. Turn a blind eye to drug dealing and stuff like that. Keep the trade going. But cinemas, look after your local cinema. Although, I've got to say, they're not awash with great films these days. Make better films. It's all Marvel. Marvel this, Marvel that. It's all spin-offs, isn't it? Hi Mark, does it bother you that former players are hostile towards you in the community, especially United players who once gave you great memories? It is hard, Jordan, but I'm just very respectful, so I see them as legends, but it's a shame. Because they are your heroes growing up. It's a shame they hate me. Jordan, and the thing is, I've never done anything to them. I've always been respectful. I just call out things I don't agree with, which is, I think, what you should do in life. Because otherwise, you're just a chicken. I'm not from Loughborough. Yeah, I think cinemas will go next. Although, I'll tell you one of my classics. I was driving up to Manchester before Christmas and listening to the radio on the way up. And I got into the office and I was saying to the lads, I said, you know what? I actually quite like driving up the motorway, listening to the radio. As long as I'm not stuck in traffic, it's quite therapeutic. And I said, the sad thing is, give it 10 more years and radio will stop. And they said, what do you mean? He says, well, it's getting a bit old-fashioned, isn't it, radio now? It will just get replaced by modern technology. And I said, what do you mean? I said, well, it's like everything, isn't it? It's like VHS tapes. It will just get replaced. And they were like, well, how does it get replaced? And then I thought, you know what? You make a good point, because it's not like you can do anything else when you're in a car. You've got to listen to something. So I think radio will survive. This game's really boring, says Signs. I think Bayern have managed it well. It's disappointing for PSG to go out, but ultimately they're going out because they finished second in the group. That's why they're playing each other. Libraries will be gone soon, says Dan. I don't know how libraries are still going. Although there's nothing like a good book. I'm reading a book at the moment, and I'm not going to tell you the name of the book because you'll ruin it, but Spot goes on holiday. But basically, I love reading a good book. I love the feel of a good book. I love the imagination of a good book. I mean, you're basically reading words, and your mind is painting a picture. And all 15,000 of us could read the page of a good thriller, and they can describe it, but we'd all have a different vision of it. I'm not reading 50 Shades of Grey. Madders on, thanks for your super chats. I've loved the show tonight again. PSG won't win the Champions League as long as it continues with its recruitment strategy, says Philip. Yeah, well, I don't. If Qatar does get hold of Man United, I don't want them to have a similar recruitment strategy to PSG because it doesn't work. For all the money that's been spent on PSG, they should have won a Champions League by now. Lazaro says radio could wind up being replaced by a podcast type media. Podcasts are getting more and more commonplace. There could be room to change or integrate music. Well, a lot of radio stations now are doing radio premium, aren't they? Where, and I don't know how this works because I listen to the radio and you get the ads and stuff like that. But some of them now are doing like premium, so you don't get any ads and you can skip the song. But I don't know what that means for the DJ because if you skip the song, I don't know. Maybe it will become automated and the DJ will disappear. Which isn't a bad thing if you have to listen to Magic with Ronan Keating in the morning. It's the only radio station that plays regularly Ronan Keating songs. It must be part of his contract. Great header by Ramos again, just wide. Mbappe to Old Trafford, Mark, says Aaron. And have you tried ChatGPT? Also read about Marek, says Shady. I'm not really worried about ChatGPT because it still gets a lot wrong. It's not where it needs to be, especially in relation to football. I like the old. I like a bit of a DJ on the radio though. It makes it feel a little bit more personal. I don't actually like just listening to whatever song I like because it feels too individual. I like the community of radio. I like to feel like I'm being spoken to and I'm part of something. You know, I don't know whether you still get this, but on the TV, you know, when you put the TV on and it'll go, and now on ITV, it's The Price is Right with Vernon Kay. You know, not that I'd ever watch that, but I like the little person who talk. I'm not being heightist. They might be very tall, but I don't even know if they do it anymore because I don't really watch TV, so I'm sort of hypocritical. But I always quite liked it when they spoke to you and said, and now on BBC Two, it's The Office. Just even that little bit just makes me feel like we're watching something as a community. I suppose that's why people like this, because we're actually interacting. You know, you're not just watching the match on your own, lonely. You know, you're part of a community and we're interacting whilst watching the football. Blakey says, here's a few podcast titles: The Goldbridge Football Factory and Goldbridge Has Won It, and Mark Goldbridge, The Beautiful Game. I like those, Blakey. What's your opinion on Musiala? Says V. I like him. He's in my FIFA team. Good player. Ever been to a nice village in Leicestershire, Mark? Says Madders. Yes. There's quite a few. I'm trying to think of the name. I really like it. I can't remember what it is. It might be Skalford or something like that. Harby. Shout out to Harby. Got a lovely local pub there. Some love. Yeah, look, Branston. feel like David Brent. Winnersh. Champions League draw isn't on Friday. Obviously, there's next week's fixtures yet. I mean, they're a bit of a foregone conclusion, aren't they? I mean, Liverpool are out. Have been to Belfast. Yamaha. Been to Belfast a couple of times. Branston's in Lincolnshire. It's not. There's two Branstons then, because there's a Branston in Leicestershire, which is where basically the... Have you ever heard of a Ploughman's? It's not sexual. It's quite a famous thing that exists. It's called a Ploughman's lunch, right? And it's basically Branston pickle, which comes from Branston. If you know Branston pickle, it's got the chunks of onion in it in the brown sauce. It's very nice. You get Branston pickle, cheese, breads. It's called a Ploughman's lunch. And it's all invented around Leicestershire and Nottinghamshire because they do a lot of Stilton and cheese around there. Ever been to Burnley, Mark? Says Logan. I've never been to Burnley, actually. Probably never will. Book club with Mark Goldbridge. So when does it start? Also, cinemas would be great if them weren't full of members of the public. Yeah, I know what you mean, Dillington. I know what you mean. Donnie says, what's your favourite low roast dinner? It's got to be lamb. I find lamb a bit fatty. You'd probably get in trouble for that now. There'll be loads of lambs complaining. I'll be cancelled now on Twitter. Goldbridge called lambs fat. You can't do that. We live in the 2020s. You can't say fat. Jog on, sheep. My favourite roast dinner, if I had to choose, a chicken can bog off. Chicken can do one. Chicken roast dinner, get in the bin. And I like chicken. Chicken's an all-rounder. Put it in fajitas, put it in a burger, put it in a curry. Chicken, stay out of the conversation in a roast dinner because your job isn't to win the roast dinner debate. You've got better strengths elsewhere. It's like putting Messi at right back. Just stay out of the conversation. For me, it's got to be beef, roast beef or pork. Roast pork or roast beef. It's got to be one of those two. If it's a good joint of beef, and I'm talking tender, not fatty, not chewy, it's hard to beat a good roast beef with good gravy, horseradish sauce, Yorkshire puddings, good roasties. It's hard to beat a good roast beef dinner. But having said that, roast pork with crackling, a good stuffing, applesauce, red cabbage. They're both winners for me. It's like tea or coffee. Mark, I know Ronaldo didn't want to be here, but I still feel kind of sad. I wish that it worked and he was able to win trophies with us, says Sammy. Yeah, it is sad. What about Gold Star Opinion as a name? It sounds like the bloody company that built the Titanic. It'll sink. Romero's been sent off for Spurs. It's over. It's over for Spurs. It's over for Conte, isn't it, really? I mean, even if Spurs get top four, what's the point? The Spurs have become a bit like Arsenal, didn't they? You get fourth place, but you're never going to win it. There's no progression in that. I listen to the United Stand in the car, but can't lock phone, says Luke. Yeah, this is the problem with, a lot of the content I do, which is why I'm going to do a podcast, because a lot of people say it'd be great to listen to it on the road. Although I think YouTube is starting to think about bringing in some sort of podcast option for content, which is well overdue. Have you ever been to Portsmouth, says Axel? I don't think I have. And Tottenham getting a red. Also, would you take Musiala at United? Yes. Yeah. Where would I play him? Well, he'd be pushing Bruno, wouldn't he? Or the number 8. Here we go. Could be 3-0. It is. Nabry. 2-0 on night. 3-0 on aggregate. Night, PSG. Have been to Warrington, Jordan. I went on a course there. And got a lot of respect for you, Mark, but as a Welshman, if you keep abusing our sacred sheep, we're going to end up falling out, says Joshua Powerwater. Well, it's better than abusing Wrexham. Thoughts on Potter? Goldbridge hot takes, Kyle. He's going to do a good job. The Bayern bench is crazy. I feel that this is... I predicted Bayern in September to win the Champions League, and I'm going to stick by it. I mean, at the end of the day, Real Madrid will give them a game. I was going to say Liverpool will, but they won't because they'll be out. 7-0. Doesn't stop you being out of the Champions League and not winning anything this year. So Liverpool won't give them a game because they'll be out. Real Madrid will give them a game. Man City probably give them a game. Napoli maybe give them a game. I think they're my top 4 to win it. I mean, I'd like Chelsea to do well, but I don't think Chelsea really expect to win it, do they? So Chelsea's problem will be a striker. Chelsea will play Bayern Munich. They'll have loads of chances. Havertz will miss them, and then Bayern will take theirs. That's the problem Chelsea are going to have. I think going back to Potter there. Chelsea's big problem is they can mix it up with anyone, but they don't take enough of their chances. True or false? Qatar could win the Champions League with United before PSG. Absolutely true, Aram. Absolutely true. Why hybrid? Why do you love the United board and Murta? I have been to Bristol, Freddie, yes. It's 2-0 to Bayern. Do you think, actually, just talking about Chelsea, do you think Dortmund were robbed last night? I've looked at it, and my stance is that if you've seen Chelsea over the last few weeks, if anybody deserves a little bit of luck, it's Chelsea and Potter. So that's my first stance. I think he's deserved a bit of luck because they've been really unfortunate. I thought the penalty was a bit harsh, but in Europe they get given. And I said that at the time. Look, the one that was given on Martinez was a joke. It deflected off his knee to hit his hand, and they still gave it. So, I think in Europe, I think it was a penalty. It was a penalty. It wouldn't be a handball in the Prem, I agree, but in Europe, I think it is. And the encroachment. Well, there is people encroaching, but I think people do it all the time. I think it's just one of those. Technically they got it right, but I can see why Dortmund were a bit pissed off, but I don't think there was any cheating in it. I think technically both decisions are correct. You're living in the world of, does it get given on the regular? No, but I don't think there's any technical cheating from the referee or the linesman. I think technically there were correct decisions. They were a bit harsh, but yeah. Gareth Bale to Spurs, says Sniper. And Mark, if Liverpool go through, what would you do? We need a bet, says Elvic. Liverpool aren't going to go through. I mean, I'm even thinking about not watching it or doing a watch-along, because I just think there's no chance. If Liverpool can do it, that would be amazing, but I don't think they can. Max wants to give Alphonso Davies man of the match. I think Kimmich has been ridiculous, to be honest. The way he plays and dictates the game, knows where the opposition are, knows where his teammates are. I think if Kimmich came and played for Man City or Arsenal or someone like that, and it's 3-0, and it's Mane who's offside. It's not 3-0, it's 2-0. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner, we're very close to 922k. All I can say is I fancied Bayern to win it anyway. I thought PSG had a good first half, but at half-time, Nagelsmann and Bayern have switched it up and, shown them who the boss is, and their quality has really come through. But first half, PSG needed to score. They had a big chance. They had a big chance. Cleared off the line by De Ligt. But it is what it is. Messi's going out. Yeah. Mark, have you ever seen the film Seven? Hilarious, Fanny. Was it not Fanny? Fannelman. Okay. Spurs fans gutted. I think Liverpool will win at Bournemouth. I was thinking about doing a watch along for it, but I think they'll win. I can't be asked to watch Liverpool at the moment. I have got flashbacks, so I'll probably do Leicester Chelsea at 3 o'clock on Saturday. To be honest with you, do the 3 o'clock games. Oh, don't know what's gone on there. Somebody just ran onto the pitch near Messi. Don't want to see stuff like that. I think it's a fan of Messi who just wants his shirt or something. You can't do that though. You know, it's player safety. You can't just run on the pitch and try and get his shirt after he's just been knocked out of the Champions League. Could be his last Champions League. That could be Messi's last Champions League game. There's always one, says Fennec. I know why they do it. They're obsessed, aren't they? They're obsessed. He's a superstar, but it's not right, is it? It's just not right. And I agree with Crimpy. Messi, for someone like Messi, that just must be, who I think is really good when it comes to fans and stuff like that. But you've just been knocked out in Munich, and someone's running at you. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. Really enjoyed the stream tonight. Cracking conversations, as always. Love That's Football. Love the community. If you want to get I think we've sold out Manchester, so if you want to get tickets for the tour, we've only got London left, which is going to be great. London's a great place. So check it out, pinned in the live chat. And I'll be back tomorrow with some content on here. I think our next watch along will be Premier League on Saturday afternoon. Of course, I'll be on the United stand tomorrow night. Man United against Betis. Got to bounce back. Got to bounce back like a ping pong ball, not like an egg. Can't bounce back like an egg. We've got to bounce back like a ping pong ball. Thanks everyone for watching. Bayern through. PSG going out. I'll speak to you all later.